Our City News, the man responsible for the death of a local Special Olympian is sentenced to life in prison. We'll have the details coming up.
Plus, the city of Lincoln is gearing up for a new wave of electric cars. We've got the latest in sports and weather as well. Next on Star City News.
Live from the television studios in the College of Journalism and Mass Communications at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Star City News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Star City News. I'm Tommy Rezach.
And I'm Anthony Ainsley.
An Omaha man has been sentenced to life in prison for the shooting death of a 25-year-old Special Olympian from Lincoln. It happened last year at the Willow Apartments here in the capital city.
A Lancaster County jury sentenced 34-year-old Anthony Wells to life in prison plus another 50 to 80 years today for the murder of Joshua Hartwig in January of 2016. Wells was convicted in Hartwig's murder last week. Prosecutors say Wells fired on a crowd last year outside the Willows Apartments. One of the shots fired by Wells fatally wounded Hartwig, who was an innocent bystander. Hartwig was a Special Olympics athlete who lived with his father at the apartments. Prosecutors say Wells opened fire on residents at the Willows Apartments because he was angry with some tenants who confronted him earlier that night after he fought with the mother of his child. Wells' attorney says he intends to appeal his conviction.
Crime news today, police are looking for a gun safe that was stolen from a Lincoln residence. Authorities say the burglary likely took place between the hours of 7 and 10 p.m. Sunday. The safe, which was lifted from a home on Kessler Boulevard near 27th Street, was carried out through a garage after a door leading to the garage was kicked open. According to the incident report on file, the contents in the stolen safe include 3 handguns, 6 boxes of ammunition, a lockbox, 2 Social Security cards, and 2 birth certificates. The total value of the safe's content is estimated to be $3,000.
The police say they have no suspects at the time and the investigation is ongoing. Meanwhile, Lincoln police are investigating the disappearance of a missing Lincoln woman following the house fire over the weekend. According to a news release, Lincoln fire crews went to Shelley Miller's home in northeast Lincoln just after 2:30 p.m. last Saturday after a neighbor reported heavy smoke coming from the basement of Miller's house. The release also said Miller's silver Jeep Grand Cherokee was gone, but her cell phone was left behind. Any information about Miller's whereabouts, anyone with information is asked to call Lincoln police. It's been a busy session here in the Nebraska State Legislature. Today was no exception. Star City's Lucas Bond has been covering the proceedings throughout the day, and he is standing by live at the Capitol with more.
Small guns making a big bang today at the Nebraska Legislature. State Senator Tom Brewer advanced a proposal that would eliminate the need for concealed carry permits in the state. In Nebraska, you have to get a purchase permit when you buy the gun, but this new bill would make that the only permit you needed to obtain. If the bill is passed, gun owners could carry concealed handguns with no permit, something that not all gun proponents in the state are excited about.
I think it's important to have knowledge of who has a concealed permit, just for safety purposes. You don't want just anybody to be able to go get a concealed permit.
In Nebraska, a handgun is anything with a barrel under 16 inches. A handgun is only considered concealed if the entire weapon is out of view. The bill is also specific to firearms and does not apply to other concealed weapons such as knives, pepper spray, or tasers. Some of those types of weapons are still illegal, depending on the designation. Though the bill would do away with the need for concealed carry permits, Senator Brewer says there are still benefits to applying for one.
And because you go through the concealed carry course, they tell you in much detail where you can and cannot carry and the reasons why. And these are good things to know.
A concealed carry permit is also necessary to cross state lines, something more Nebraskans could have to worry about if the bill is passed. However, Brewer believes carrying a gun is a constitutional right, and the government shouldn't put conditions on how you enjoy it.
Can you imagine the uproar if we said, listen, you can have the First Amendment rights, but only in a certain place at a certain time and under certain conditions? People would lose their mind.
Reporting in Lincoln for Star City News, I'm Lucas Bond.
A Lincoln man was sentenced to 12 to 24 years in prison today in connection with 2 statutory rape cases. 22-year-old Dennis Tomka pleaded no contest on 2 counts of attempted first-degree sexual assault in February. Police say Tomka and a 16-year-old engaged in sexual acts with 2 different 15-year-olds in January and February of 2016. Tomka will have to register as a sex offender.
And a Lincoln man has been sentenced to 18 months in prison following a drive-by shooting in May of last year. Lincoln police said 21-year-old Chantrell Hickey was driving a Chrysler Pacifica that was involved in the shooting in a South Creek neighborhood. Hickey was charged with aiding and abetting attempted first-degree assault and pleaded no contest to attempted terroristic threats. Hickey was also sentenced to a year of post-release supervision following his 18-month prison sentence. Well, getting out of credit card debt can be difficult, especially when you're dealing with fees and interest rates. But according to a new report, there's one thing you can do now that may help your finances. Mary Maloney explains in tonight's edition of Consumer Watch.
It's easy to use your credit card, but contacting your credit card company seems to be much harder. It shouldn't. According to a creditcards.com report, 87% of cardholders who asked for a late fee to go away got that fee removed.
People have a lot more power in negotiating with their credit card issuer than they think they do.
All you have to do is look at the back of your card and call that 800 number. And it's not just late fees. You could also ask your card to lower interest rates, waive your annual fee, or raise your credit limit.
People would be stunned at how successful you can be with these requests. For example, about 90% of people who asked to have their credit limit raised got that request granted.
Which can boost your credit score and end up saving you money.
If you're a little nervous about making the call to the bank, just remember the worst thing that can happen is they tell you no. But the best thing that can happen is that you get to keep some of that hard-earned money in your pocket instead of handing it over to the credit card company in the form of fees or interest.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
Well, coming up after the break with the new supercharger station in Lincoln, is the city ready to make the transition to electric cars? We'll have that story next. You're watching Star City News.
A lot of high school students would ask, why should I go to UNL? Well, why did Johnny Carson, the Tonight Show fan, go to UNL? Why did multi-billionaire businessman Warren Buffett go to UNL? Why did people of such great fame and success go to UNL? Simple, because these are people that wanted to be successful. At the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, you too can begin your own success story. After all, if people like this can achieve national recognition and who came from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, then so can you.
For nearly 7 years now, Here Nebraska has provided the state with nonprofit music journalism. Our platform survives on the hard work and dedication of our staff and our contributors, everyday volunteers that generate content. Contributing is an excellent way to gain valuable professional experience, recognition, and build your portfolio. Go to herenebraska.org to learn more and how you can contribute.
East Campus is for students who want an education outside of the classroom. We have art, agriculture, fashion, food science, law, dentistry, and a lot of trees, all of which are housed just on the corner of 33rd and Holdridge. Grab an ice cream cone at our dairy store or take a stroll through our gardens while you're here. Want to make it legit? Visit us at casnr.unl.edu to reserve a tour soon.
And welcome back to Star City News. Well, following the reports of Russian ties with the Trump administration, Senator Devin Nunes, head of the intelligence community, has trusted and investigated the details. He was trusted to investigate the details. However, things have not gone according to plan. Star City's Christian Folsom is live in the newsroom with more on that.
The chairman ought to recuse himself.
Leading Democrats calling for the embattled chairman of the House Intelligence Committee to step down, arguing that Congressman Devin Nunes, a former member of President Trump's transition team, is too close to the administration to conduct an impartial investigation into the Trump campaign's potential ties to Russia.
We've reached the point after the events of this week where it would be very difficult to maintain the credibility of the investigation if the chairman did not recuse himself.
The uproar coming after Nunes acknowledged Monday that he made a secret visit to the White House grounds to meet an intelligence source in a secure location.
Nobody was sneaking around. All it was just a place where I had to go to be able to review this information.
Nunes denying any wrongdoing and defending his decision to brief President Trump and the press about incidental collection of the Trump transition team's communications before informing his colleagues on the Intelligence Committee.
I wasn't planning on going to the White House the next day, but after I was able to read what I read, I realized it had nothing to do with Russia, but had everything to do with individuals whose names were included into intelligence reports. I was very concerned, and I thought that the President of the United States should know, and that's why I went and told him.
UNL political science professor Kevin Smith had this to say.
It undermines the integrity of his committee. I mean, the committee that he is chair of, the House Intelligence Committee, is supposedly mounting a bipartisan investigation into Russian interference in our elections.
Democrats calling on House Speaker Paul Ryan to appoint a new chair.
His actions look like those of someone who is interested in protecting the president and his party, and that doesn't work.
Both Speaker Ryan and the White House standing by the chairman.
I think he's been fairly open with the press as far as what he was doing, who he spoke to, and why.
Amid ongoing questions about who granted Nunes access to the White House grounds, who led him to the secure room at the Eisenhower Executive Office Building, and who accessed a computer to view the files. Reporting for Star City News, I'm Christian Folsom.
Lincoln Parks and Recreation will have a new main office starting tomorrow. The new headquarters will be at 3140 N Street. The office was scheduled to open today, but some of the workspaces were not functional at the time. The Parks and Rec old office at 2740 A Street was permanently closed this past Friday. The administration, athletics, park facility reservations, and 2 other divisions will be on the 3rd floor of that building.
Well, the rarely
on March
used
10th, UNL student body president
campus union to decide whether or not a veto on the Daily Nebraskans fee allocation is constitutional.
On March 10th, UNL student body president Spencer Hartman vetoed the UNL Student Senate's decision to restore the DN's funding to its original budget request of $134,800. The Committee for Fee Allocations recommend that the student newspaper's funding be $114,600, a $20,000 decrease. On March 8th, the Student Senate voted 19-9 in favor of restoring the DN's full funding. Hartman vetoed that decision and said at a March 15th meeting, quote, "I support the Daily Nebraskan and maintain that stance today," end quote. But since the DN has $700,000 in reserves, which is 150% of its fee allocation, Hartman said, quote, "It is for these reasons that I believe the Daily Nebraskan should come in line with the philosophy that this Senate has applied to all the other fee users' fiscal responsibility," end quote. The DN filed a petition to the student court to challenge the constitutionality of Hartman's veto. DN General Manager Dan Chattil says if the veto stands and $20,000 are cut, the consequences could be dire.
His meaning of the veto of $20,000, if that should stand, we will have to figure out how to absorb that into our budget. There's not too much more that we can cut.
The Student Senate voted 21-6 on March 15th to override Hartman's veto, but fell 1 vote short of the 2/3 majority needed to override. Chattil says there's no timetable as to when the court will reach a decision on the veto. For Star City News, I'm Tommy Rezach.
Again, the hearing with Student Body President Hartman and the DN is set for tonight at 6:30 in the Arbor Suites of the East Campus Union. Lincoln's first Tesla supercharger station opened back on January 20th. Does that mean Lincoln is on the verge of a big transition to electric cars? Star City's Joe Harris has more.
The grand opening for Lincoln's first supercharger station was here at the Hy-Vee on 27th and Superior. The new Lincoln station is the 4th in Nebraska along I-80. Teslas can now be driven all the way across the state, charging up at the stations. Overall, there are now 55 charging stations in Nebraska. UNL electrical engineering professor Don Cox says he's been studying electric cars since 2003. Cox says this new station, in addition to other chargers in Lincoln, provides infrastructure in the city for people to transition to alternate energy cars.
It is happening slowly. It has been happening for the last 4 or 5 years. As people learn about them, they eventually pick one up.
Cox says the base price of a Tesla is about $70,000. But other cars such as the Chevy Volt are $35,000. Additionally, Tesla announced its $35,000 Model 3 will be available in 2018. Cox says electric car batteries are expensive, but their prices are going down, and with them, the price of the cars is too. Lieutenant Governor Mike Foley made an appearance at the grand opening. Foley said a lower budget electric car will encourage the transition even more.
If you bring a car on the market, an electric vehicle at $35,000, which never needs an ounce of gasoline and no oil, that's a big deal. And thousands and thousands of people will then enter that market and buy these electric vehicles.
Well, it was over $100,000, which is very pricey. I have no business owning it, but I'm a believer in the technology.
Dennis Mathias of Lincoln has been a Tesla owner since 2015. Mathias says he thinks prices will come down in a year or two, and they will become very popular. Reporting for Star City News, I'm Joe Harris.
Well, even though we are in spring, Nebraska is still in flu season, and the UNL Health Center is helping students prevent potential outbreaks. The health center is giving flu shots to UNL students throughout this week from 9 to 11 in the morning and then from 2 to 4 in the afternoon. There were 360 positive flu tests in the state last week, according to the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. And that brings the total amount of cases this season to 8,637.
Well, we told you a couple of weeks ago here on Star City News about construction efforts set to take place on North 27th Street in Lincoln, and those efforts are now in full swing. Crews began work on the northbound lanes of North 27th Street last week, as well as on the eastbound and westbound I-80 exit ramps. The construction is designed to tend deteriorating concrete as well as a deteriorating bridge. Lincoln residents can expect Phase 1 of the project to take about a month, with Phase 2 scheduled to begin in June.
And in entertainment news, one Grammy-winning artist could be headed for the big screen, and another could be headed home.
And I don't know if I will ever tour again. I've loved it. I really, really have loved it.
Is this Adele's final tour? On Sunday night, Adele told a rain-soaked, sold-out crowd in Auckland, New Zealand, her latest tour might be her last. By the time it concludes this summer at Wembley Stadium in London, she will have done 123 shows over 15 months.
And I'm just not sure if touring is my bag. I'm not going to lie.
Pharrell Williams! Pharrell the movie? Fox has picked up a pitch for a big screen musical inspired by the life of Pharrell Williams. The project reportedly will trace the Grammy winner's childhood in Virginia.
My turn.
If internet buzz about a movie means people are going to see it, Justice League may be a hit. The latest trailer for the superhero pick, which opens in November, helped generate more than 201,000 new conversations on social media last week, dominating online chatter, according to media measurement firm ComScore. Producers hope that means audiences turn out.
Shall we?
Well, spring is officially upon us, so how about some spring weather? Haley McCulloch will tell us if warmer temps are headed our way and just how much moisture we can expect this week. That's after the break right here on Star City News.
Our goals are simple: conserve and protect. The choice is yours. Stay ahead of the game and invest in reusable containers, or simply make use of recycling bins. Our recycling bins around campus can recycle paper, plastic, and even aluminum. Finished with that newspaper? Recycle it. Did you drink the rest of your pop? Recycle it. Heck, we'll even take your homework. Well, after it's graded, of course. Stop throwing away plastic and just recycle it.
What can we do with 2.2 million square feet?
We can create,
Design,
Develop,
Study,
generate,
build.
At Innovation Campus, we combine research and transformation.
we combine business and art, technology and research.
We combine minds with makers, experts and novices.
We innovate.
Welcome to Innovation Campus.
The historic Haymarket, a beautiful place just west of downtown Lincoln, home of the exciting Pinnacle Bank Arena and a rich history. The Haymarket's history starts shortly after Lincoln's founding, when Lincoln was a busy hub for trains filled with traders and merchants. But now, Lincoln has a new rail yard that's filled with people looking for food, drinks, or fun. The Haymarket is loaded with restaurants and fun for everyone. What are you waiting for? Go visit lincolnhaymarket.org/events to find out what's happening today.
Welcome back to Star City News. Well, Anthony, pretty spring-like day out there today. Not too cold, but a little chilly, cloudy, and possibly some rain on the way.
Absolutely. And tell you what, after a pretty forgiving winter we've had, March has been all over. We've had great days. We've had a near perfect day, I think, in my opinion. And now we're back to kind of a gloomy, overcast day. And hopefully the sun comes back later.
Yeah, we had record highs about a week ago. We'll see if we get that warm again anytime soon. Star City's Haley McCulloch is standing by in the Weather Center. Haley?
Thanks, guys. So, as you did mention, it is cloudy here in the capital city today, but about springtime temperatures, 50 degrees with that east wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. If we look at our almanac, it is a little bit below average due to that cloud cover, so the sun couldn't bring us up to that normal of 58 degrees. And unfortunately, we are nowhere near that record of 84 degrees. We're at more summertime temperature from 1905, but also luckily we weren't near those wintertime temperatures of 6 degrees from 1913. Moving into tonight, if you're headed to the baseball game, it is going to be a little bit chilly with 43 degrees northeast, 10 to 15 miles per hour. So you're going to need to bring a jacket or a blanket to the game. But luckily, the rain should hold out and won't start till after midnight. If we move in tomorrow, those rain showers will continue. But also, it is Severe Weather Awareness Week. So you are going to hear a test at around 10:30 in the morning for our tornado sirens. But if it is rainy, they might cancel that due to slight confusion. Moving into our radar loop, you can see the rain moving into our area over this time of year from our west to the east. Moving into our 7-day though, we have nice sunny skies coming on Friday after those 1 to 1.5 inch precipitations on Wednesday and Thursday. So lots of rain coming to our area, but hopefully bringing some flowers back, a nice green area. Another boundary is coming in on Saturday, so could bring some precipitation on Saturday into Sunday. But then the sunshine will return, so we'll see more springtime temperatures, mid-60s, so it's going to be really nice to start your work week overall. So after this little bit of precipitation bump, we're going to have nice warm skies, hopefully. Go out and enjoy that beautiful weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you very much, Haley. Nice mild temperatures ahead. And as she mentioned, Husker baseball in action in just over an hour at Haymarket Park. They take on Kansas State. Seth Cordy will have more on that. And plus, after the worst year in women's basketball history at the University of Nebraska, that team was dealt another blow on Monday. Seth will have that and much more in a busy day of sports right after the break. You're watching Star City News.
This is the nation's biggest multicultural center attached to a union. There's space to interact, study, and create. We're home to dozens of cultures, majors, and interests. We are home to all underrepresented students. And here, there's always room for you. Located on the east side of the UNL City Campus Union, find your home away from home. Find us at the Jackie Gunn Multicultural Center.
At the Outdoor Adventure Center, you'll find activities for everyone, from canoeing to kayaking to rock climbing. Everyone can get involved, but if you want to find them, you probably have to look up. The Outdoor Adventure Center isn't something you can really define. It's a culture built through experiences. Take a class with us. Go on a trip with us. We're open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Come move with us. Come adventure with us. You just have to experience it.
It's your first stop on campus. It's your helping hand. It's a place to study, a place to eat, and a place to plan. The NCARD office, Career Services, Student Affairs Center, a multicultural center, food, and even Greek affairs.
Wait, did you mention food?
Yes, but we have a lot of other stuff too. Come check it out at the Union.
It's our union.
Welcome back to Star City News. Well, March Madness isn't the only thing from the world of sports that is creating waves. One of the oldest teams in the NFL is on the move once again. The Raiders have found a new home in Las Vegas, and our own Seth Cordy has the story.
This was the moment it happened.
Die-hard Raider Nation learning their team would be coming to Las Vegas.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. It's Christmas times 1,000.
I still can't believe where I'm actually getting my team here in my backyard.
The Raiders boosters over the moon that instead of just watching from afar, this is now their hometown team. And while the 31-1 vote was exciting to them, they know it's a little sad for their fellow Raider fans in Oakland.
We say welcome to them. Please come. They're thinking with their hearts. They're not thinking with their minds.
You know what? If you're a true Raider fan, we deserved what we got is a brand new stadium.
The Raiders also getting a new fan in Governor Brian Sandoval.
I thank Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, who said all along, Las Vegas is it. And he's a man of his word. He's kept his word. And today's a day to celebrate.
After the celebration, the work begins on the new stadium that includes $750 million in state money. Sandoval admits that's a lot, but is banking on seeing that money come back in the long run.
I wouldn't have been supportive of this project if it didn't.
Steve Silosek said it's not just about the silver and black, but making Las Vegas even more of an international destination.
We'll be home to the Super Bowl someday. Hopefully we'll get a Final Four in the stadium. We could get a national political convention here someday. So much could happen with a facility of this size.
Fans already getting ready.
More than welcome to come and stay at my house if you want.
Well, the Los Angeles Rams first, and now the Las Vegas Raiders. That's going to take a little bit getting used to. Well, for more on sports today, let's kick it live to Seth.
Thanks, Tommy. Well, welcome to the sports segment of our show. I'm Seth Cordy. In today's top story, Husker women's head coach Amy Williams announced yesterday that sophomore forward Jessica Shepard plans to transfer from the Husker women's basketball team. Shepard averaged 18.6 points and 9.8 rebounds this season, earning second-team All-Big Ten honors. Shepard scored 1,012 points in her first 2 seasons, the highest total by a sophomore in school history. She had 25 career double-doubles at Nebraska, which ranks 5th in school history. In a statement released yesterday, Coach Amy Williams said Jessica thinks it is in her best interest to leave our program and seek a fresh start at this time. Williams added, "We wish her the best and will try to help her through the process if she needs it." Shepard also released a statement saying, "Coach Williams and the whole staff have been very supportive of me, and I thank them for giving me some time after the season to make my decision." Shepard added, "I want to thank the University of Nebraska and all my teammates for the support they have given me the past 2 years, but I feel like I have to do what I think is best for me and my future at this time." The Husker women's team finished 7-22 this season. It was the worst finish in program history. Well, if you're like many of us, your bracket probably isn't doing so hot. The NCAA men's basketball Final Four begins Saturday with South Carolina taking on Gonzaga. The action then continues with the Ducks from Oregon taking on the Tar Heels from North Carolina. Coverage begins at 5:09 Central Time Saturday. Both games will be broadcast on CBS. Switching to the women's side, Elite Eight action from the Bridgepoint Regional, Oregon taking on UConn. Picked things up in the first quarter, a steal and a bucket from Sunia Chong, and that would start the onslaught by UConn. Now a kick out to Chong from behind the arc. Got it, and UConn is heading to their 10th straight Final Four, winning 90-52. That's 111 straight for the Huskies. They'll face Mississippi State on Friday. Stanford and South Carolina will face off in the Final Four Friday as well. Husker baseball back in action tonight against the Kansas State Wildcats. The Huskers are coming off a 4-game series against Cal Poly, where they won 3 of the 4 games. First pitch is set for 6:35 at Hawks Field. Now that's all for sports. Back to you, Tommy and Anthony, at the desk.
Thanks very much, Seth. Well, Anthony, it always blows me away. 111 straight wins, 10 Final Fours. How does Gino Auriemma do it?
I got to say, what do you have to do to take this one down? But I got to say, it only takes one. Just got to remember.
Yeah, we'll see what happens this weekend. Final Four for both men and women. Well, when we come back to Star City News, Haley Bakulik will have one more quick look at the weather.
The historic Haymarket, a beautiful place just west of downtown Lincoln, home of the exciting Pinnacle Bank Arena and a rich history. The Haymarket's history starts shortly after Lincoln's founding, when Lincoln was a busy hub for trains filled with traders and merchants. But now, Lincoln has a new rail yard that's filled with people looking for food, drinks, or fun. The Haymarket is loaded with restaurants and fun for everyone. What are you waiting for? Go visit lincolnhaymarket.org/events to find out what's happening today.
Welcome back to Star City News. Let's head over to Haley McCulloch one last time for a quick look at the weather. Haley?
So remember, as you're going out to the baseball game, it will be a little chilly, and luckily that rain will hold out, but more rain showers are coming over the next few days. Luckily, April Fool's Day might see some precipitation as well, though, but overall, the start of your work week will bring beautiful springtime, nice sunny skies. So not too bad to start your work week, even with some slight precipitation. Back to you guys at the desk.
Well, it sounds like we'll stay dry at the baseball game tonight. I'm very happy to hear that.
I'm hoping the rain stays away because we got racing weekend as well.
Yeah, Anthony, I know you're looking forward to that. Well, that's all we got tonight on Star City News. I'm Tommy Rezach.
And I'm Anthony Ainsley. We'll see you next time.